Greetings from Christ Team to be University. We have Lieutenant Rahul Sharma, who is an alumnus 2017-2020 BCom batch, who has been recently commissioned from Infantry Training Academy, Chennai. We are very glad that you are here with us. Lieutenant Rahul, we appreciate what you have achieved at a very young age from the School of Commerce, Finance and Accountancy. We really want to appreciate your achievement, especially from the Department of Commerce.
Thank you, sir.
In the very beginning, Rahul, we really want to know what actually took you to this journey of defense.
So let me start from my childhood. My father, he was in the army, and since beginning I've lived in the environment of a military and disciplined way of life, and I've seen people train. I've seen my friends, elders to me, who I used to play with, they joined the army, and I've seen that their personality has changed totally. I mean, they lead a more fit, more disciplined life, and they got everything sorted. So that somehow motivated me to join the armed forces. And as I went to school and then later on to college, I got to know more about the armed forces and then it fascinated me to join it. So that's how it started in the very beginning. But I just not only dream about it, I also worked for it. I started reading about it. I started talking to people who are in the armed forces, to officers and other friends of mine who had joined the armed forces as well. So I got to know more about the armed forces, and that's how I got interested into joining the armed forces.
Is there anybody that you would say as a role model or inspiration for this choice of your life?
Yeah, my role model is of course my father, as I told you already. So seeing him since my childhood, I got motivated. But there are many more officers that I met since I was in NCC. I met a lot of officers. And apart from that, I read about a lot of officers who made the supreme sacrifice for the country and did a huge effort for the country. So that they motivated me. So I believe all of them are my role models.
How were you finding time to do preparation for the selection process?
The selection process for the officer cadre of the Indian Army, it's not per se a test that you just prepare in a month or two. It's basically a test of your personality. It's less of physical, it's more of mental and psychological. So it's basically how you grow up since your childhood, what's the environment that you will be living into. And they look more into personality. So you cannot build a person's personality in per se 1 or 2 or 3 months or something like that. But of course you have to focus more on current affairs. You have to know what's going around you. You have to be more aware of yourself as well, about what are your likes, dislikes, your hobbies, your personality traits, as in your strengths and weaknesses, your challenges that you face. And apart from that, of course, what's happening around the world, you're supposed to know about the Army and Defense Force a little bit for sure, and that's how you prepare for it.
I see many people going for coaching or some other learning centers to prepare for these examinations. What about you? Did you need any extra coaching or something like that?
Most of them believe to go for coaching because they have not faced a crowd as such, because there at the SSB you will have to face a group of people, and most of the individuals find it difficult to difficult public speaking. So maybe coaching might help for that, but since I was here at Christ, I had a huge crowd to talk to. I have my classmates at my BCom class. Apart from that, I of course had NCC mates. You used to go to camps, and so that's why I had never the fear of talking to a huge crowd, thanks to NCC and Christ.
Oh, that's good to know. By any chance, you had any problems during preparation or any hurdle that you have faced while you were preparing for the selection process?
The most biggest hurdle I'd say is it's mental, because for my selections there were around 400 people coming from all across India, and I was the only one who was selected. So it's a mental hurdle more of it. It's not anything that more physical or something like that you have to run or have to achieve certain goals, but it is more mental because there's a huge crowd. India being so populous, and a lot of people, of course, from the north especially, want to join the armed forces and as an officer. So the competition, I'd say that's a more mental thing. Apart from that, I don't think there's any more challenge.
How did you tackle those challenges?
At the first day when you go to the SSB, you see a huge crowd of 400 people, just like you, prepared. They prepared as well. But so if you go there first for the first time, like for me, it was the first time I cleared SSB in my first attempt. So it is difficult because you'll see a huge crowd and they are well prepared as well. But you have to have, of course, confidence in yourself and what you've studied and what you've learned, and in your personality. You have to be sure, you have to be confident, and everything will fall in place.
Well, I see your academic records are also very good. I just want to know how were you managing both of these, preparation for selection process as well as your academics?
For that, I'll have to thank my professors and teachers here at Christ, because while I was here in college doing my degree, I was also in NCC. And me being part of different camps, I attended very less of classes. But my teachers, some of the time they used to take special classes, and whenever I had a doubt, they cleared it then and there. And apart from that, they also supported me to do things in NCC while they take care of academics and help me there.
Oh. Since you mentioned camp, I just want to know, have you ever participated in RDC?
Yeah, so the RDC is like the Republic Day camp, and it's held during the month of January. It starts from 1st and ends around the end of January. And so yeah, I was part of it. It's a rigorous selection process, I'd say. It starts somewhere around September, the selection here in Karnataka, and later on in Delhi as well. So I was had the opportunity to march on the Rajpath on the 26th of January 2019. So, and there were only 2 of us from Christ that year.
Oh.
So it was a great opportunity that again motivated me to join the armed forces, because I got to know it much more through the camp.
So your participation in RDC concreted your vision for this job?
Yes, it surely did.
And how can you say whether Christ had any contribution in making your ambition more concrete, just like RDC did for you?
Yes, it surely did, because back at school, I'm from a central school, that's Kendriya Vidyalaya.
Oh.
So there, it's, I mean, you don't get to talk to people much. It's just more studies. But here you got to know a lot of things. At Christ, there are a lot of fests and other things where you meet a lot of people, a lot of personalities. There are a lot of professors that help you build your personality. And as an officer for selections, that was what they look for, your personality. So here at Christ, it totally helped me, including NCC, it helped me a lot to improve my personality per se. And being part of NCC also helped me get basic knowledge of the armed forces, so that also helped me during my selections.
We would also like to know that apart from NCC and academics, were you also involved in any other extracurricular, co-curricular activities here?
Here at Christ, I used to play basketball, so I represented the Department of Commerce during the Pedagogy League in my first year, but after that I had to go for camp, so I had to leave sports. But I'm also inclined towards art, so I sketch as a hobby.
Would you like to tell our people, the cadets, especially the aspiring cadets, what was your experience getting from preparation to selection and after that?
I'd say I went through it too fast, because for other people it takes around 2 to 3 attempts on an average to clear the SSB, but mine was in the first very attempt. But yeah, it took a lot of time. I started, especially it was more challenging because it was during the times of COVID, and it requires you to go out, run, do physical fitness, but I was not able to because of the restrictions. So I had to do everything at home. I have to study at home. I had to do my physical things at home. So it was a bit challenging. But the experience, I'd say it was amazing, because getting selected in the initial stages in SSB, that was a big deal for me, because I did not want to go back home on the first very day.
Okay.
That was an excitement, and my parents were proud for that itself. But then on the 5th day when I got selected, and later on got medically fit, so it was like a mental block that I had cleared, because before that it was very challenging, and because I've heard people say it is really challenging, and it is in fact, but I had cleared that, so I felt a sense of achievement. And later on when I joined the academy and I performed well, I was an appointment in the academy too, and I got the regiment that I wanted to get in. So it's a great, amazing experience, especially when your parents come on your passing on parade and then they see what you've transformed into. So they're really proud of you, and then you're really proud of what have you become.
Yeah, as you said, it's a miraculous thing to get selected in one go. What would you say was your main success mantra to actually get selected in one go, actually?
I'd say you have to be confident that in the interview, especially officers, senior officers, they have been interviewing people they've experienced, and you basically cannot fool them. So you have to be true, because they'll get to know if you're lying, and you have to be confident in whatever you're saying. They'll try to deviate you from your answers and then different things. They'll try to put you in detention, but you just have to be confident about yourself, and whatever you do, just do whatever comes to your mind at the first go. That's mostly the right thing to do. So that's, I'd say, the basic mantra for that.
Oh, great. Thanks for sharing your mantra. Now, we want to know, what is your professional aspiration, or what are your future plans in this field?
Now that I've joined the army, I mean, this is my basic goal to join the army as an officer.
Right.
From here, I want to excel in the field that I am in right now. I want to be a good officer, lead my men to wherever I'm posted to, be it field or peace, and get them safe from any operation that I'm being sent to, and achieve the goals that have been given by my senior officers to me.
So we have many people who are aspire to become an officer like you. So I would like to ask if there's any specific advice or words that you would like to say to them.
There's no specific thing that I would want to say. I mean, but if you have the thought of joining the armed forces, then you should really get into it. I mean, there's no half-mindedness that you would want to show here. I'd say physical fitness is not much that you should focus on, because in the academy you'll be at the fittest stage of your life you ever will be. They'll train you for that, but you should be more trained for a mental way of life. You should be more knowledgeable, you should know more about yourself, about your surroundings, where you come from, and a little bit more about what's happening in the world, like what's happening right now in Russia and Ukraine, something like that. You're supposed to know about the wars, because that will define how we fight wars here in India. So just a basic general knowledge is and awareness should be there, and just be confident. That's it.
Lieutenant Rahul Sharma would really like to know about your training experience. How was it in defense?
The training happens in Officers Training Academy, Chennai. So Chennai as such, the weather is too humid. So the weather is a little bit challenging, because the other academies, per se IMA, that's in Dehradun. So it's a pleasant weather out there. But that's more challenging, and also our training lasts for 1 year, whereas other academies take 2 to 3 years to make an officer. So what they do in 2 years or 3 years, we are supposed to do in 1 year, plus the humid weather in Chennai. So it is challenging, it is tough, the training is tough, that's what they're making you. But it's really, again, you learn a lot of things there. You fire a lot of different weapons, and latest weapons as well. You learn about tactics and warfare. And you also have foreign cadets coming over there, so you learn a lot about their country's defense and their country's environment. So the training is a whole package, I'd say. They teach you first to be a gentleman and officer later. So that's how the training is built there.
Are there different career opportunities within defense?
Yes, sir. So if you look per se for the army, there are different branches, I'd say. So there are the fighting arms, which are the infantry, the armored corps, and then the mechanized infantry. These are the basic fighting combat elements of the army that go on the forefront at the border and fight the enemy. While there are other things, other branches who support these three basic elements. So there's communications, we have signals, we have medical corps, we have all sort of things. So the army basically, it's not only what people think is going to the border and defending your land,
right,
but it's a lot more than that. We got everything and anything that you wish for. The army goes throughout the world. We have UN peacekeeping missions.
Right.
So it's not only India that we're operating in, we operate everywhere all around the globe. If you talk about expeditions, we've summited the Mount Everest, we've gone to the South Pole, to the North Pole, everywhere in the world. So that's about adventure, if you're an adventure seeker. Apart from that, if you're a techie, the army, there's the signal corps, there's the army air defense, and where you get to utilize all the advanced technologies, like that's the BrahMos missile system, that's the fastest in the world.
Right.
Apart from that, you can also get to use the Triumph S-400 Triumph system, that's the latest coming from Russia.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different things that you can do in the army. It's not just marching and firing on guns, as people think, but yeah, so if army has anything and everything for you if you choose it.
Okay, I have just a little idea. I just want to get a clarification on. Some people say that even after you join army, you can continue your studies. Is there any possibility about that?
Yes, that's there. So you can get into top B schools if you are into commerce, or you can get into top engineering schools like IITs and IIMs. Even if you are a part of the army, and you even get paid your salaries when you're studying as an officer. So you do get an opportunity to do that.
So the duration of study will remain the same?
Yes, it does remain the same. Also, you also get chances to go abroad, and if you find any university that's under the Government of India's license,
Right.
so you can do that as well.
Oh, that's actually good to know. I think many will opt for this option also.
So,
Thank you, Lieutenant Rahul Sharma. Well, that's all about we wanted to talk about today. We have Lieutenant Rahul Sharma, who has inspired, hopefully, and motivated many of us to start our journey in this career option. That should be all from our side. Thank you very much.